谢谢呢。
Sawadika.
Sorry. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so everyone here.
Hi, Tip. I'm Zoe from Hongkong Museum.
Yeah.
Hello,
Nice to know you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Yan Yu.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Okay. So Yan Yu will use her laptop to do the presentation, but her laptop has no webcam. That's why she has to use another device to show her face. So you will see two Yan Yu's accounts here, but it's the same person. No, just to let you know the situation here. Yeah, and it's a collaboration project between Jim Thompson Art Center and Hongkong Museum in Taipei. So both we and I will join the meeting today. And I want to thank you again, Tip, for being agreed to be invited to be here to share your experience, your knowledge with our Taiwanese artists. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So
Yan Yu is quite activated. She participated in many residencies in different countries, and she makes works mainly with fabrics. And recently, she started to make puppet. But in the past, her works are not only puppet, but making installations and objects with textile and fabrics. So today, I think I will let Yan Yu to introduce her projects and introduce her career as an artist first, and then we can receive some feedback from Tip. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Good. So Yan Yu, go ahead.
Okay. Here is here's my work from the past. I do some lot of textile work and use different techniques such as embroidery, jacquard weaving, and some sewing, and also other techniques I have learned a lot. But that's all about, my work is all about present what my life and what I see and who I met before. And after I have finished my MFA degree and nothing more about technique, I think, because a lot of equipment is so expensive that I can use again. Then I just create a new technique. It's called wrapping, like a wrapping package. But I do a lot and find a way to present a doll like this. I create many different dolls from the old clothes or something West textile, and also some bigger one. Then I find something. My work is about puppy. The first one is like this. When I travel different country, sometimes I will to find their second-hand clothes shop, and if I find something interesting, the fabric or clothes, maybe I will buy it, and do some local I feel it's a local dot from my memory layer.
Mhm.
And the second one about with the puppy, my experience is a school job because I have sometimes if was a opportunity, then I can have a contract to work at school. Then some school have a art course about puppy, but I don't know how to do it then. So I learned from other teachers and I taught the student. Likely, this two one is the first experience I taught about puppy with the shadow. And then another one, I taught about the glow puppy to performers. And the third one, because I also need to manage school library, so I connect together with the book and the layer paper doll together. The paper doll also, I taught them about how to use a rope, a a lot behind their paper. Then they can performance with the book together. And the third one is last 2 months ago, I just go to a puppy theater because they have a artist resident, and I do the presentation for a installation about their local history. It's in Yilan in northeast Taiwan. And there I also learn, I understand more about puppy and the layer theater. So right now is my uh, project, different step for my project. I try to find the history from my hometown. There is a very old street in Hsinchu. And I also want to connect the region of Jim Thompson in Thailand, uh, like two stories together. And I will find some interesting people from these two stories and to rewrite it as a characters. Then I will use textile material. Right now, I may wait for Jim Thompson Art Center will give me some like silk fabric or some silk threads together. Then I will use my also the same wrapping technique to do the dots. Uh, then they will be like a little bit string puppy. To hanging on the air. Also, there will is also a support like a 3D printer to make a facial experience, because I think maybe it's the doll, if they have the face, maybe more interesting to understand what they want to do or want to present. So this is the first step. Like I try to find something from Hsinchu and Jim Thompson in Taiwan, and there is a first department store in Hsinchu. It's very old, and now it's still old. Now it's become a sightseeing, and also here is right now it's become a art center and also a museum. So there are two houses, but I want to become a one house. And many people lives here. And here are many people with different title job that they are connect with together with these two characters. And then I just need to time to wrap the dots just like this. If I do a wrap, it's on the floor, and when it hanging, just like to show their posture. And if here is a 3D printer head, then the doll will have a face. Okay. This is also the question that I want to ask about the letter. Okay, so thank you.
I think the reason why we invited Yanyu to join this residence is because we find that in her career, she in the beginning of her career, she focused more on the technique of fabrics. So she knows how to do weaving, how to do jacket, but now she is trying to move on to another stage of her career because now she really needs to know how to write a storyline, how to make from object into performance. And it's also quite lucky that in her previous residence, she met people from a puppet group. So she kind of started to turn her work from a more like a 2D one, more flat one into a more 3-dimension one. Yeah, so I think she will need some advice from a really very experienced performer like you to give her some ideas, because right now she's trying to find some hint or find some keywords from the history of two cities. But I'm quite wondering if that is necessary for her. Yeah, or maybe there might be some directions that she need to clarify before really move into study to write a script or something.
I'm from the presentation, I try to pick up some point. I just want to telling about how I working in my style, because we use many material also, but not only focus on fabric. So we produce even flat puppet or 3D puppet as well. But the point is to create the story. It needs to have a meaning in your mind.
Okay.
You have to know why this stuff touch your feeling, right? It's the basic, the basic reason first of all, and from development processing, you will find out later about why you add another object into this show or this art piece. I think we better to scope into the smaller point. But now between Taiwan area and Jim Thompson house is quite broadening. maybe there must be something from Jim Thompson area that you find out this is the fascinating for you, or there's something touching your heart. I'm sorry, but I believe that there is the reason why we have to meet and mean to be found in this object. So from that meaning, I always weaving with one point to another point, not everything first. But so from my point of view, just pick up one thing that you feel really interesting, and then we can jump into another scene, another line. That I think this is easier for me.
Can you just say something like example?
It depends. For can I ask you back?
Yeah.
Is that
sure.
better?
Yeah.
Why you interested in Jim Thompson house?
I mean, because he collect a lot of things he liked in the past time. It's not treasure, but he liked. He just buy it. Me here.
I think Tip is trying to ask you, besides you were chosen for this residence, why do you find Jim Thompson Art Center interesting, or what point of Jim Thompson Art Center attracts you? Yeah, otherwise you could have choose Thai silk or Thai history or history of Bangkok or a lot of other points to be your perspective. But why do you choose Jim Thompson Art Center or the person Jim Thompson as the beginning point of your study or of your research?
Because I just curious about why is he is a foreigner, but he just jumped into Thailand and stay for maybe the whole life and do some business. And the business is about textile that I very interesting. So I feel if I can join this art resident, maybe I can know more or understand like Thai silk or something about his collection. And also I think about, because right now my experience about puppy, and I also know Thai puppy is also very interesting. So if textile and the puppy can do something together, also in connection with Thailand, I think I may have very interesting experience.
I think maybe there are too many points. The first thing you interested in Jim Thompson personally, character, right? Because he is not Thai, but he living in Thailand. Second one, his house product is focused on fabric, which is silk.
Yes.
This is in one item. There is two focus already about fabric or silk. So I think it's better to get the smaller point. And the third point is the puppet. So I think this there are too many subjects in, you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's hard to work out to reach out. Probably you might have to choose between his
Just
character,
one.
or you pick up the main point is the puppet. There are more than 3 subjects to discuss. For me, it's a bit hard to continue.
Okay. So right now, maybe I just focus on puppy because this is what I want to learn more. And the other things, I think maybe I can do it myself.
And because in Thai rod puppet, I'm not in this field, but I can recommend you. Like in Bangkok, you can go to the National Museum. That will be the traditional rod puppet, and you will see the puppet costume. There will be a puppet costume that combined with the many of fabric, which can tell the status in our society.
Oh, thank you.
In the old day, all the amusement, the puppet and the classical performance, they will use the fabric, which is the belong to the high society, because the performance happen only in the court. And if you go down to Phetchaburi province, which is the I think 3 or 4 hours ใช่ไหมน้องวี Phetchaburi located away from Bangkok, maybe 3 hours,
about 3
right?
hours. Yeah.
ใช่ you can go down and you will see the traditional rod.
We come to Thailand, we will bring her to see things, but right now maybe in the research stage, we like what we can do is maybe I can find out some information for her, okay, about this. But when you come here, definitely we will bring you there, okay. Yeah.
So one is the Phetchaburi, you go to see the rod puppet. That will be I'm not sure they're still alive or not. That will be the oldest puppet company. Yai something. I help we to searching the title of the company later on. And another province is the Ratburi, also like 2 hours from Bangkok, and you can see the traditional giant shadow puppet. And I'm very close to the abbot, the monk who taking care of the performance. You can mention my name, that you come from Tip, and then you can have a discussion with him there. So you will see the real performance, and you will see more costume or the fabric that they use, or even the letter that they carving for the shadow puppet there. And this is maybe more inspiration for you to produce more idea about your artwork.
Thank you. But how to say, this one I made last restaurants, and I find something behind the performance, because when they are only the shadow of dot from on the wall, only on the wall. I feel they are another different shadow world behind the real one. Because there is a actor from the puppy and its doll theater, and she act something for my doll, only for the shadow. She used the flashlight together to flash the shadow and on the wall. So the doll is like something they are running or walking on the wall. But from the real one, I mean from the fabric real one, they didn't move. So sometimes I'm not sure because I know you also do the shadow puppy, and I also to research something about the light. When there is a light, something may be different from the real real doll. Like they can really move or jump or walk or just fly in the shadow world.
If you're searching from the internet, you might see the variety of shadow puppet performance.
Yeah.
The modern shadow performance, they will use a lot of lighting. So
Yeah.
So we play with the lighting to project the different kind of shadow on the screen. But yeah, anyway, you need to experiment how to work with the light. It's maybe not only torchlight, but maybe different kind of lighting to project the spirit of the puppet. Because in the shadow maker, among us, we believe that shadow has life.
Another life.
Yes.
Behind.
So in one puppet, I mean, like everybody, like me, Tip, we, everyone. So you also have your own shadow. But sometimes you have more than one shadow. And each shadow has its own life, so it's different one. It's not the same one. This is our philosophy of shadow maker. If you have questions, you just ask me, because sometimes when you didn't work on this field, it's a bit hard to explain.
Do you also believe that each puppet, each doll, they have their own soul?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, sure. Because when I choose the fabric, then sometimes I feel the fabric have its soul, its history. I mean, the history is from the owner. When the old clothes they use, and they have their different mark, like the hole or something, like a torn fabric. And this fabric, when they become a doll, so it will be a new life again. But I just like I saw this. It's a Russia puppy master. He said about the life. It's the process. It's not just a life, a new puppy. To rebirth is unique. So I know it's not the same one, but I believe that. I mean, I believe that when the puppy have the performers or even just stay in on the wall, it's still his life there.
I have a question for Tip. I've always been wondering because in the shadow puppet show, the puppet, they are very beautiful and they wear very delicate costumes sometimes, or they are very delicately carved with a lot of details. But in the shadow, sometimes it's not so easy. The audience can see the details on the puppet itself because they see over the shadow. So how do you deal with it? Because the shadow itself, they're so beautiful, so delicate, and with so many details. But but in the performance, you see only the shadow. Yeah.
It depends on the perspective of the artist as well.
Mm-hmm.
In this point of view, you have to separate between shadow work and the other artwork that including shadow in their work.
Mm-hmm.
Because like painting, photography, they all mention about shadow technique in the art form. So when you draw,
Yes.
you put the kind of make it dark area to make a shadow in that painting or photography. They have put light on different angle. But for us, shadow has different. I mean, like apart from the other kind, because we're focusing on the spiritual dimension. What we create on the screen, it may be nobody at all. So that's why sometimes when you see performance, if you met the wrong lighting designer, there's so many shadow on the screen, which is distract the audience eyes, or even put different meaning on the stage. They didn't realize that at all. But when we producing it, we focusing give the meaning to the shadow, not only the object on the stage. So in this case, if you want to discuss about the object, which is very beautiful, but the shadow has only black color.
The profile.
I would like to introduce, let you talk more about how do you feel about that? Because the one object without shadow, one meaning. One object with shadow, the second meaning. Only shadow, no object on the screen. It becomes third meaning.
I see.
So it's the perspective, how you living, how you giving the meaning to the thing that you vision can see. Somebody see from eyes, somebody see from head, somebody see from heart. Different. But in terms of shadow maker, you know, heart is more meaningful. It's not about the decoration. It's not about beauty or not beauty, but the spirit of that object is come out. And people feel it. That's the essential of the shadow work. So many times the object very ugly, look terrible, but on the shadow, warm feeling, lovely feeling. It tells something. it's same like human body. We not, maybe I'm not mainstream beautiful lady, but in my shadow, so powerful. And it's, when we've been working with shadow for a long time, you see, when you see some shadow, you see the intensity of each shadow has the power. So think something like that so far I can explain.
Then I would like to ask about how do you choose a story, or how do you uh, start a story to like to present? You want to present different meaning from the object.
Sometimes, so you can play around with this concept, this
Yes.
philosophy of shadow. You
Yeah.
can play around, because shadow, if there is no light in the darkest room, you can't see shadow at all. You know, it can play around like many way.
But do you I mean, do you write a story, or just uh to find a story to do a reference?
We need to have a story, right? But we don't know how the story come from, right?
Oh.
It can be from anything, from nothing can be story as well. So be open, be free to your story. Don't trap yourself in one issue. That's for my work. It's more freely, because your heart will tell you what you want to do. And then after that, you play around and you use the meaning of the shadow itself, or the object, or the other combination, to create the story together. Sometimes I'm talking about one object, but I play with the space and time through the shadow, through the lighting. The puppet you hang out on the wall, see, they are the same level, but when you put it different level, that's the different shadow as well, right?
Yes.
Ah,
Definitely.
yeah. So now you can move on by yourself. You know how to create the shadow, because the spirit of the shadow, it's nothing. You can project, you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger than object.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You can create one object, you can create 10 shadow on the screen. There are many ways. The shadow can be on the ceiling, the shadow can be on the floor, the projection can be anywhere. But the point is what you want to present.
But when you say the shadow on the ground, sometimes, I mean, it's rarely to see from the audience, or just or maybe they are with the audience together, because the audience sometimes just sits on the ground or from the ground.
Why you worried about the audience?
I'm not sure, because I just don't know when I am in the audience, I just only sit down behind the stage. I rarely will very close to the stage. But I see less resident in the theater. When they after their performance, I just curious and will walk into the stage and to see what the detail behind the stage. Then I can see what something like a secret equipment or something, tools, or something. I don't know how to describe. Just like a box or something they hide behind the stage. Then they can perform us very well. But if I am the audience, I didn't know that. So I just curious about like the shadow. Sometimes we when I do my exhibition as an installation, just only on the wall and not too much on the ground. Because on the ground, sometimes they feel the work is not important or something not, it's not like a treasure because on the ground. So that's why I asked this question about when you say that the shadow can everywhere, but if you choose on the ground, what will be that meaning for you or for the audience?
See, even in yourself, you have your own story. You have your own belief, which is maybe different than the other people. But it doesn't mean that you have to follow them. You do what you feel. You do what you feel. From my point of view, there's no right or wrong in the art. When you fear, when you worried about something, I cannot answer your question, but you have to ask yourself why. The story is behind you, not behind me. When you give the meaning of lower or higher, that's the meaning from your point of view. And when you create the story, sometimes it depends to what you listen to. I use this universal symbolic many times in my show. Sometimes we think about the audience and then we feel like the audience will feel that way. And we decide to do so. We decide to do that because we expect that the audience maybe feel in the same way that we feel. But after finish the show, after we have a discussion with the audience, we found different reason, and it make the artwork more interesting.
You mean the different meaning or different thinking?
Same. Because it depends on what they have in their life. right? So it's the sharing. Art is not judgment for me, but they will see who you are because you project your thought in your work so far. It's like when we make puppets. Many people said the puppet just like the one who make it. It's always like that. It's always like that.
Then I would like to ask about the second one is because I know the performers. I mean, when the puppet show the performers, sometimes they are actor from they have the study about actor or how to performers, not like if you only understand how to do puppet, but you didn't know how to performance, it's not very good to play a show. I mean, oh, the background from the performers. Sometimes they also know how to performers on the stage. They learn how to performance on the stage. Even they don't know how to do a puppet. But on the other hand, if a person understand how to know how to do a puppet, but if he or she didn't know how to performance on the stage, then I mean when do a performance, the different background sometimes will have different effects.
And
I don't know, just I just curious because I don't have any background about performance. Even I have taught the students, but that's not the real performance experience. But I mean, you do also a puppet and also have a theater. When you have a puppet show, what will you choose, like a actor or who have the background about performance, or you choose the people they don't have the background of performers, but they do puppet well?
it depends. It depends. Some production is focusing on the process of working. I'm looking for someone non-experienced puppet at all. and you will see the magic of the puppet. You see the real person in the non-experienced people. But from some production, maybe I need expert or skillful performer to work for me on time. And many times in my company, I'm happy to work with the new people, because we sometimes when we perform too long time, you stuck with the old idea. But when new energy come, you see the difference. So many times, most of the time, I work with the condition of each production. I'm not have the preference like I need the experienced people. I need the someone who been working before, something like that. Yes, of course, it's a good point. But in some production, we're looking something else. And the non-experienced doesn't mean they can't do it at all. Because in shadow puppet, in the behind the screen, everybody is the same. It's not actor on the stage. The actor on the stage, you need to have more skill, to have your body appearance face to face to the audience. But in the shadow screen, everyone the same. Only the shadow that you make on the screen. So this is very important. When we give life to the shadow puppet, the spirit come out, not the body come out. And I didn't direct, like talk a lot. No, normally we did a brainstorm, and then we experiment, and we shooting camera, and we come back to see the record, what we have done. And then we start to discuss how we feel. So everyone more or less equally movement based on what you did on the screen.
I think Yanyu, you will have less concern because you used to study in the fabric and textile art, and now you found it really very interesting to do puppets. But actually, when I see your work, through the way you wrap the object that you made, the strength of wrapping, when you loosen it or when you put strong strength on it, you show different emotions. And the shape that you made also tells the feeling that you had when you're making it. So actually your work helps you to deliver your ideas or your feelings. So I really think, just like what Ms. Tip mentioned, you don't really have to worry if you are being trained a performer before or not, because actually you already know how to use your work to deliver your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings. So I'm not worried about this. I think you will do it good. And so far, to the what I hear from Miss Tip is more like, because the whole residency program is quite short and quite intense. So most of the artists, they are being quite nervous to try to find out something to follow on, or try to find out some hints from, for example, because it's a Jim Thompson and Honga Museum project. So maybe she has to study in Jim Thompson. But it's very important that you mentioned that you have to listen to your heart, what really touches you, what really made you feel interested. Is it really the person of Jim Thompson himself, or the Thai silk that attracts him to stay in Thai? Or if we come down and really overview or review the whole project within these months, maybe you will find out what you're really interested in, and then we can put the focus, we can find the focus and start to work on it further. And also personally for Yan Yu, you've just moved from another city back home to Hsinchu. So I also can imagine automatically you study want to discover more about your own city or your own background. And I think that is a very good point when you move back to Hsinchu and you study want to do something. But still, I have the same feeling with Tip that we have so many different subjects in the presentation that you did. Yeah. So we through today's discussion, we kind of realized that it's about time to slow down and really try to find the focus. So you can share more your own feelings. So and then maybe both of us or three of us can through listening and through analyzing, we can brainstorm together about the focus that you can from now on to move on, or the direction. Yeah.
Because usually when I do the residence, I go there. I mean, it's not online. It's a real one that I can feel the environment and to find something and talk to local people and also see and touch the fabric. But right now, because I couldn't do anything, I just can imagine. So that's what I think about. If I combine my hometown or what I live the city, Hsinchu, and with Thailand, so I can do something here right now. But what I want to focus definitely is the Jim Thompson. He left his house, and also right now is also art center, and I remember there is also a farm.
Yes,
I'm not sure.
but actually the art center is different. Like it's just nearby there. It's different place. We not like situate together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, art center is another building, and this one is kind of the house museum is another thing. Yeah, and then he have a farm in, yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe maybe if you have more information or you want to explore more information about Jim Thompson himself, so you can find out some story that you can connect to, maybe it's better, do you think? Or because we have expert about Jim Thompson like that, we can connect you with him later if you want. Is
But
that
but let's I explain the reason what I do. I know there's too much like subjects together because I mean let I mean because there are a lot of things that I cannot control or I didn't know. So I think maybe it's a trick or a technique to something together. Then I can do something first in Taiwan, and after the pandemic, then maybe I can go uh, go to Thailand and do the next. But if I need to focus on, maybe I need to focus on first just in Taiwan from my city, it's better because that's the resource that I can find and I can got.
I see.
Even yeah, the fabric maybe I can got, because what I mean is that when I do like a doll, I need to know, also I need to touch the fabric. Then I can choose what to do and which kind of pattern or which the color or which the texture is better for uh, the characters, because they have the different kind of appearance or different kind of the shape is better for the characters. So I think maybe right now, if I focus on uh, the person 师大武, maybe it's better than I can do first in Taiwan. And then when I can go to Thailand, then I can find more thing about Jim Thompson and to feel the environment and also touch like the fabric. Then I can do the second the different stage. That's what I think maybe for the time, for the place like right now, that I can do it, maybe it's better.
I think to be there could solve many problems, I believe, too. But
Yeah.
to be with your uncertainty, to be with the uncertainty and to deal with the uncertain feelings could be a very good subject too. And I do agree with what you're thinking right now, because you have the feeling of you need to have some process, you need to see the progress. But I also have the feeling that through the talk with Miss Tip, that I realized that just like the shadow, it reflects your feelings without your appearance. So actually, the emotion shows more than the appearance. And I think maybe it's also a good timing when we're thinking about how the difference of a normal residence and an online residence, and how at the time when you are not able to be there physically, the feeling of the feeling of this uncertainty can reflect on your work too. Yeah, this is my feeling of after listening to Miss Tip. Yeah. And if you want to discover more about 代无师, I think we can also try to help. Yeah, so we can work together in the field study or in the field research. Yeah. But I think it's a very interesting discussion because what you just shared with us is like a reflection to this whole residency project itself, because we are at the stage of not being able to really travel in person. Yeah, but we want to face the situation. Yeah, that's why we start this program at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to join because I just curious about how to it do not not in the local.
When you're not in the local, but still, I feel that through the what Miss Tip shared with us it's actually quite healing to me. Yeah, just listening to the idea of how you think about the shadow show and the puppet show, and how you think the soul of from shadow. Yeah, that's magical because shadow is not even an object, but still there's soul inside. This is very inspiring to me.
Then another question I also want to take because I know there usually they have the music, the song or music, and I find your shadow performance they are not too much speaking. I mean, not for me. If I am the performance, then I feel no speaking or less speaking is very good because the language. If you performers in a different country, then I understand speaking is very important when, especially the different language. But behind the speaking, I mean the song or the music, how do you like cooperation or you do yourself or just with the like instrument? I mean, how do you decide uh, when when you have the story, when you have the actor, and when you have the puppy, then is the music is the last one you decide, you choose, or maybe it's the first one you have that?
It depends. Sometimes when I listen music, I see image already. But many times when we sometimes shadow technique cannot tell the story, we might need music in combination. But it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It depends. It depends, and many times when there are too many music, it's misleading the meaning of what I want to tell. Sometimes silent is the best, and I avoid to have the dialogue in the show, because when you put the text, the meaning in the mind different. It's it's something else. When we come to the last discussion section, I found out that without word performance, it can across border, can take the audience from the real world to another world easier. Some audience brought back to the past, and they explain in the discussion about how they feel, and I found out it's very interesting. So that's why I didn't like much to use the dialogue or text, or even in the music. The music need to be only the sound, the lyric in the music.
So you choose the music is about, it's not traditional, but how it is like someone will play the music for you only for the production, or you just buy the music from like company?
Anything. I use everything.
So you don't I mean no, yeah, like right, no, not a writer. But do you also?
You mean composer? You mean musician?
Oh
Composer?
yeah, yes, composer.
Sometimes we have composer, but sometimes we don't have money. We don't have money to pay. So we find the other way.
So how do you find, I mean, the other way? How do you do?
Sometimes I use the music that is online already, or the music that we already have, or sometimes we ask friends to produce some sound, or even we did it by ourselves. But it depends. I'm not give the focusing on the, what do you call, the other element is come after the shadow come up first for me. To see the main idea first, what I want to communicate. And then the other combination come later to support that scene. And because it's maybe because I never learned art in school. So I'm freely to make decision about what I want to choose. Somebody said it's good for me to didn't learn it officially, learning art in art. But I think a coin have two sides. It doesn't mean you study in school or not in school, because if you art maker, you will become for your whole life. You don't need somebody to tell you what to do, right?
Yes.
When you use fabric, I think you already know. You don't need any consultant about why you use this, why you use that. But you know from your heart you're gonna do this.
Yeah.
Even you cannot explain why for the moment, right?
Yes. Usually, I just can understand how to explain that thing.
Sometimes I learn from the audience as well. When they ask me, Chip, why you did like that? Why you choose this? And they start to explain about how they feel. And I feel it's, wow, this is reflection from my work. It's a part of our work. It's from the other point of view. It's from the other body eyes. And you see yourself better. You see it clearer that you, oh, wow, you produce one but have a different meaning. But honestly, it's come from you. But you didn't know. You didn't know it. You might think long time ago before, maybe at the beginning of the process, you forget it already. But once you project it on the stage, audience says something, it's, oh yes, it's from that sequence. I like to share with the audience a lot when after the show. Sometimes the show, some people say maybe they don't understand what we have done, but some people explain scene by scene. It's interesting, but it need, I mean, all those comments is not the judgment for your work, but it's a part of your work.
Then I would like to ask about if the production you did maybe 5 years ago, then if right now you have another chance to do it again, will you change it something or just do the original one, even 5 years ago?
Change สิคะคุณ I have changed. Time change. We grow up. We see different. We want it better. Maybe we want it stronger, or we want it blurry. We didn't want to talk it anymore. Even yourself, you change. Your work change. It may be the same. I can tell it can be same thing, the similar, exactly the same thing, but I'm absolutely sure in your mind there are many change. Time change already.
Oh, okay. And let's this I also want to understand more about the this traditional one, because I research on YouTube. The men will also dance like traditional dancing or something, and they also do. I mean, when they hand this puppy and hand this puppy, but these performers also with their dance. But right now, if we this one, he didn't dance. But I mean, it's in the traditional way. But when I see your performance with the shadow, there is not too much dance, but like people will also, I mean, the whole body, the body shape is also inside in the performance. But it's not like the puppy. not the puppy you made, just with the whole body as a puppy. Yeah, a puppy one. It's like a real one, and or the true one or untrue, but together into the show. So I just curious about that you think about. I mean, it's the tradition, but right now it's the contemporary. How do you to see this, or how do you like recognize or to define something like you do right now with the shadow puppy?
What do you mean?
I mean, because the traditional one, what I found in Thailand, they are also connect with like a dance together, like dancer. But the dancer is not the actor, just the dance. I mean, the the, the field, the the field of dance. But they connect together with the puppy in the traditional Thai puppy show. Like this one, the cone and the Nanyang.
The first one is not cone.
Not cone.
Not cone.
Oh,
The first one not called Khon. Khon is like the real people, right? Pitip is a real people on the stage. And this one I think is called Hun Grabok Lek, right?
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hun Grabok
Cool.
Lek. Maybe I don't know like what you want to study about this more, or you just want to know like basic idea of it.
Basic. Yeah, I just like a basic.
We have the traditional Thai puppet, like many types, and all the types they have exactly what they perform. What do you know what I mean? So Hun ka block leg, they need like at least 3 people to perform like the arms and the leg, something like that. And then
yes.
Yai, because it's really large one, and they need like
Yes.
one person to hold it.
Yes.
They sometimes like, I'm not so sure, but they dance and kind of move their body. That's why they look like that, the second one. And the third one is Nang Talung. Nang Talung is like, they have, is a smaller scale of the puppet, and they have the connection with the arms and the leg, and they can perform like only one person can perform it, something like that. So different type of puppet, like different type of the performer. They don't really real performer, something like that. Is how it's operate, I think.
No,
Yeah.
Except operate the puppy. I mean, their foot. This one, their foot.
Yeah, because they need the hand and also the leg too. Only Nang Yai.
But their leg also, when they move the puppy, the leg also dance, like a dance, something together with the same movement with the puppy.
Maybe I find some paper about the basic idea of Thai traditional puppet for you, so it's more clear because I'm not a professional.
What do you want to know? I mean, like the first question, I'm confused about what. Do you need to explanation about each kind of performance, or You
No,
want
I
to
think
know.
she wants to know more about, because there are a lot of different traditional kinds of um, uh, puppet shows. It's not only in Thai, it's also in Taiwan. We also have a lot of different kind of puppet shows. Yeah, but I think the main question should be how to merge the traditional one with a more contemporary way to show it.
Oh, right. Mm, I think it's different story, right?
Yes.
How to merge?
No, it's not like I'm merging two things. It's different thing now. But maybe can you explain to her like, what is the contemporary puppet in Thailand now? Something like that. Maybe she a bit confused to think like that.
For me, I didn't work out with the conservative performance, not the classical one, because originally they're not allow women to manipulate the shadow puppet.
That's the first thing.
And you see there are different classical puppet that you see that you just present now. There's that they also have their own rule to perform. But I didn't know much about that detail, how they perform, but how to use the kind of the applied art. I think it's normal. It's just like what I did said before. It's depend how you pick up the point to use in your work. But
sorry, I think it's maybe easier that I translate a bit right now. Yeah， 因为你的问题是比较跟就是因为传统的偶戏其实也有很多不同的分类，然后其实 Tip 他比较没有办法接触这些传统偶戏，因为传统偶戏里面其实在泰国女性是没有办法操偶的。然后在他的演出里面，其实他也比较少用到这些就是传统的技法，因为他们有比较严格的规范。对，所以你的问题是你想要问他的是从比较当代的偶戏表演的角度，他怎么去引用这些传统吗？
对，就是我其实好奇的是，他应该是知道，只是他不能，应该说他不能，she can, you can tip, you can participate the tradition puppy, but I mean, you have the history from the Thai puppy, so I just wondering how you think about the traditional one and what do you do now?
Do you think the traditional puppets performances influence you in your performance right now? Not really.
No.
How to say, the first one, I focusing on the feel of the traditional giant puppet we call nang yai, right? But the point is because they're not allow women to perform. I'm working with the Wat Kanon temple. Nowadays, they have a live performance in Thailand, only 3 places left in Thailand now. So Wat Kanon, Wat Bandon temple, and the, what do you call that one? At Singburi, another province, but now it's rare item in Wat Bandon temple, in one temple now they have the dramaturg Patravadi, that Joy, and then now the woman can perform for in that temple only. But in Wat Kanon, in Rajburi, they still keep the traditional strictly, not allow women to do. But I think this is the essential of the Nang Yai performance, because it's the performance that show the masculine of man to be on stage. It's not about we are women, we cannot perform or blah blah blah. There might be reason like excuse in the old day. But from my point of view, after I'm working with them for a long time, I see how beautiful when men perform on the stage, which is now rare. Most of the time we see the woman dancing. And when I see the echo of my voice,
Sorry.
谚语的电脑的声音可能还是要关掉。
Yeah, you need to mute on one device. Maybe I can help you with that, but I'm not sure which one.
So the echo is finished.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have two devices. You have to mute on one device.
你要把那个的电脑对 OK that's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
So I think how I work is totally, it depends you want to relate to the classical or not. But it doesn't mean, even my work is different from classical, it doesn't mean I didn't interested or I didn't relate to it. I also did the research before I come to the modern shadow puppet, what I have. So I studied it before. When I was young, I make a lot of argument about why you not allow women. Woman is more potential, more responsible. But all those reasons disappear after I'm deeply working with them. I'm sleeping in the temple. I'm watching them rehearsing every night. I see one day I realized that, wow, this is what the beautiful of this kind of performance. It's not about argument. And I pay respect to the original performance that not have women include. But I still working in the temple as the modern shadow puppet company. And the monk allow me and let me teach the small children to learn how to make the puppet, the modern puppet in the temple. And the monk has inspired from my work. Since then, they start to call the small kid to practicing Nang Yai. Since they was in kindergarten, not waiting until they grow up, grow enough to carry the big puppet. So you cannot, this is the exchange between generation from the classical to the modern world. Exchange between the two status. One is the abbot and one is a woman. As a normal people and as the monk, it's different status, different point of view. They're living in the village that they have a strong belief that women cannot touch the puppet. I experienced one day, the abbot allowed me to touch the puppet, but there was a kid accidentally saw me hold the puppet. She screamed. They said, "Mama, she touched the puppet. Something bad will happen to her." Because the people still believe you cannot break through, you cannot break out what they're thinking. So I'm carefully about working in the different area, because there are many respectful that we didn't realize about how it impact to the people, or how it impact to the one who taking care of that show. We might not relate through the performance, but we relate through the spirit, heart, and mindset, how we can work together. ใช่ค่ะแค่นี้เองนิดเดียว It's just a simple point. We don't want to, we keep that they like to do, and we can do what we want to do, and we can living together. That's it. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, because sorry that I didn't know that like traditional puppy is just for men, and that's why I just right now I understand why you say this, that you have the history, but you can like touch or something, like even in villages, like people will say you touch it because you are a woman. But I mean, if the younger kids like a girl uh, if she want to learn, then like in the village, then her parents will forbid that she can do it, or she can learn from the school. I mean, in the village, in very traditional village, parents also think about no, like even very young girl, she can touch or
I can
learn the
touch
puppy.
because it's a secret scene in terms of artists working, but not for the general people to jump in the temple and do whatever you like to do. You can't do it. But if you really want to do it, you go different area. You go to Radbury, you go to another temple, maybe they let you hold the puppet and perform. But not in Radbury. It's not in the Wat Kanon temple. Am I?
Okay.
You wonder why if the girl want to do it, right?
Yeah, if I am a very young girl and I see your puppy show, then maybe if the young girl want to touch or just just want to know more about, then she can do it.
ไม่ได้ cannot in the Radbury you cannot, but if you go to Rayong province maybe you can do it because this area is very strictly
so
on the condition.
yeah, P-Tip is talking about หนังใหญ่
หนังใหญ่
Yeah.
หนังใหญ่ only and
not my show นะ not my company.
The หนังใหญ่ is quite have a specific rule, like only men can do it, right? And then now we have only 3 places that perform หนังใหญ่ in Ratchaburi, Singburi, and Rayong. So 3 places, and at Wat Kanon is very strict. That what she means. That where she learned from. ใช่ปะคะพี่ทิพย์
ใช่ค่ะ
Yeah. She learned in this Wat Kanon in Ratchaburi, which very strict. That's why she can't touch. You have to understand first, like we talking about หนังใหญ่, but other puppets we can teach in like any school, something like that. Okay.
Okay.
Is that clear?
So if I go to Bangkok, then I can touch every puppet. Right?
If you go to Radbury, if you go to Wat Kanon temple, you cannot touch the puppet.
Yeah, only what
there will be the museum you can see.
You can
but in the one that perform you cannot touch them. The puppet that they use in the performance.
So it's also respect, because not touch from the woman is just like a meaning about respect or something. I mean the rule.
Originally is you shouldn't do it because you are a woman, right? The first one. Now there are another temple that already blend in with the modern theater, and they have women performer in the show.
Is that Bandon, right?
Wat Bandon temple.
Another place called Wat Bandon. You can see the woman performer perform หนังใหญ่ and I think you can touch it. Yeah. So it's only that place.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, I think as a general public or as a normal audience, you don't really touch the puppet from performance. Yeah, it's only for research. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yanyu, do you have any further question you would like to ask Ms. Tip?
Right now, no. I think it's that's all.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that we receive a lot of material to study more. Yeah, not only about your own project, but also we need to study more about that general Thai puppet history, so that might also help in building up the whole system of your own puppet universe. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Tip Kopkumka, for being with us today. And I find what you share in a previous discussion is very inspiring, and also helping me to rethink about all these projects. When we are talking about making art, when we were talking about delivering your own ideas, it has to be something that really touch you yourself, and then you can try to grab it and try to share with someone else. Yeah, I think that's a very fundamental and very basic idea when talking about this. And we will continue helping Yan Yu for no matter her research or for her future visit to Thailand, hopefully in the next year. And I want to show our sincere thank you for your time and your wisdom shared with us today. And
with pleasure. Mhm.
is there anything else you want to tell Yan Yu?
Only if you need like any information, please feel free to list to me. Like because I'm not so sure like what you want to focus on really now. Okay. And every issue there is some like fundamental idea or basic idea to learn first, and then if you find some point that okay you want to dig deeper, yeah, I will help you find more information about that. Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very thank you. And also thank you, Tip. You said that you have participated years ago in Taipei, a festival close to you,
Yeah.
a puppy rock. Yeah, because I just know that festival just last month. So maybe one day last 2 years later, yeah, it will host the festival again, then I will can participate or
มาเล
to
ยค่ะ ดี
see
มาก
something if
Please
I
come.
do a very good performance.
อืม ดี and if you come to Thailand, you guys can come to visit the my space in Taipei Creative Space, and we can meet here too.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Yeah, see you maybe just next year.
อืม